When it comes to the UAP UFO topic, Canada is typically overlooked quite a bit, especially because all the action is in the United States. If you're Canadian and you're watching this, or if you're not and you don't know much about the Canadian news system, essentially the majority of the news outlets are owned and run by the government. So they're going to pick and choose what they put out there. And the alternative media I haven't really seen covering much at all because, well, they're too busy focused on creating even more division, just like when you have in the States, you have the left versus the right. Same thing is happening here in Canada. So this really does get overlooked by all the news outlets. So it is interesting to find these articles that do talk about it. And I'm willing to bet they're not really advertising that they've done these articles. So anyways, let's get started. The Canadian government's top science advisor provides update on official UFO story. There's an 8-minute, almost 9-minute video you can watch there. And this was published March 1st, 2024, so fairly recently. And one of the most important lines is right here at the beginning. The Canadian government's top scientific advisor says her office will release a public UFO report by fall. Later on, it does mention that it's probably going to be end of summer / fall. The interesting thing will be, is it going to be like the latest Arrow report, where it's just a whole bunch of fluff, nothing to see here, and really vague and uninformative findings that they say and just say, yeah, nothing here, nothing to look at. So will this be a true report with what they've been working on, or will it be more of a cover up? Because I'm willing to bet that Canada and the rest of the Five Eyes are heavily involved in working together on this topic and essentially this cover up. Now, Mona Niemer does say that more can be done to make UFO information available to Canadians. Again, which side are they on? I'm not sure, but according to this article, things are sounding reasonable that they do want to get more information out to the public. I can appreciate that some, maybe national security concern, but I believe by and large that you can make that information public. And I think that's the best way to mitigate conspiracy theories and disinformation. Now, this is the biggest thing that the US loves to throw around. Everything's a national security concern, whether it actually is or isn't. And this is how they get out of releasing FOIA requests and that kind of thing. Same thing in Canada. They just say no, national security or people could be put in danger by releasing this information. And probably 99% of the time it's complete BS, but they can do it. That's the law, and they know how to use it for their own protection. And it's funny, her concern to mitigate conspiracy theories and disinformation, because these secret agencies or corporations, whoever is behind all of this, they love conspiracy theories and disinformation. And I'm willing to bet they have their hand in creating some of that, right? To just add to the mix. And it's easy for them because if someone actually comes out, it's getting harder now to do this. But if someone comes out with some real hard facts, they just say, well, they're just a conspiracy theory. They're just spreading disinformation. And people used to back off from that. But now, finally, people are starting to ask questions, say, wait a minute, let's look into this a little bit more. And it goes on to say, March 2023, CTV News revealed the existence of the office's Sky Canada project, which is the first known official Canadian UFO study in nearly 30 years. Keyword being known official, right? How many unofficial things have there been in the past? The Sky Canada project has also contacted counterparts in US and France, and they're getting information from agencies such as the Department of National Defense, Transport Canada, Canadian Space Agency, and the RCMP. And similar to what we're seeing everywhere else, saying the enthusiasm or the responses have been uneven, Niemer revealed. Sometimes the information is more complete, more cryptic than we like it to be, which is why in some cases I will be engaging directly with the deputy ministers to make sure that we have the information that we need. And of course, we know that the information they need or want is not necessarily the information that these guys are going to want to provide. And the Sky Canada project does have its own webpage, which you can check out. It's really funny they have this disclaimer here at the top. It should be noted that the Sky Canada project is not intended to access and collect first-hand data, photos, testimonials, etc., nor is it intended to make the OCSA the main point of contact for Canadians wishing to report observations or personal experiences. Furthermore, it is not meant to prove or disprove the existence of extraterrestrial life or extraterrestrial visitors. So it's interesting. This is the official Canadian website that they have that disclaimer on there. Now, this is where it gets interesting and where the cover up begins. They say the project is to support citizen science and aims to facilitate the collection of observations documenting rare natural phenomena. Okay, so if they're focusing on rare natural phenomena, any reports of actual UAPs, UFOs are probably going to be classified as an anomaly and they'll just cast it to the side. And so when they make the report, they'll say, yeah, look at all these crazy things that were happening in the air. No, 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 none of it was UAPs or UFOs. It was just natural phenomena that people didn't understand what was going on. Use of documented observations as a way to contribute to surveillance activities on Canadian territory towards the prevention of undetected intrusions. So, what is that? Who has the ability to come into Canadian territory undetected? That's the big question. They also say it's an ongoing effort to curb disinformation and prevent conspiracy theories by seeking to make collected information accessible to all. Yeah, but will it be all collected information, like I said, or will they just ignore the stuff that they don't want to show? And of course, the project will prepare Canada for collaboration and other countries on UAP reporting. They have been informed of recent initiatives in the United States on the UAP file, which we all know about if you've been in this space for some time. So they are pretending like this is something new for them and they really don't know what's going on and that kind of thing. So, like I said, they're saying early fall 2024 is when they'll come out with a public report. Either way, I think it'll be exciting to see what they come up with. I just really don't have high hopes because they've been very quiet and very tight-lipped on this subject for a long time. And probably just like every other major country in the world is doing as well, pretending that this is all made up and no one knows anything. And it goes on to say that she said, I can tell you that we're taking this seriously. We're taking a very thorough approach to this and making sure that our recommendations will be based on the best evidence and interactions that we've had. Keep in mind, they're essentially going through old files and not taking on any new cases. They do not want the public to contact them. They just don't want to deal with that. And so she was responding to questions Tuesday. You can watch that video as well from Conservative parliamentarian Larry Maguire. And he made some waves a while ago. There was a leaked memo that got out that he was advising the Department of National Defense and all sorts of other people about what was going on with UAPs and that sort of stuff. And it popped up and essentially quietly disappeared shortly after that. So again, Canada very tight-lipped on this, but it seems like they are doing something. And I think it's kind of like what's happening in the States. Their hand is being pushed a little bit. And now finally they're going to do it. And CTV even says here, this was the first time that she has spoken publicly about the Sky Canada project since it was launched almost a year and a half ago. So they're quietly doing these things in the background, hoping no one really notices what's going on and what they're up to. So I'll leave a link to this article below. You can check that out. And as well to the actual Sky Canada project. And there's another article I found here as well. This was from 2023. And again, brought up by Larry Maguire. He said the Department of National Defense is in possession of recovered UAP material. And of course, they say, no, we're not. The DND says we can confirm that the Canadian Armed Forces / Department of National Defense, as well as all previous iterations, have never had any possession of any UAP materials. So with Canada and US being so similar, I'm sure they have the same system set up. So they can't have this deniability because they say, well, we don't have it. We never have. Well, number one, another country could have it, most likely US, or what the US is doing, it's picked up and given to private corporations. So they aren't completely lying when they say this. It's just not the full picture. And they do this so they can say these types of things. They aren't lying. They never had possession of any of the materials. Did they help recover, move them, and pass them along? Most likely, but they never actually had any possession of them. And this is their plausible deniability to keep their hands clean of this and anything that comes with it. Of course, with time, I'm sure more and more people, as they get comfortable, will come out with information. I may be completely wrong. This is all my opinion, of course, after researching this topic and looking at the other people who spend their lives diving deep into this. I really wish the more well-known researchers and journalists, YouTubers and the podcasters and the documentary makers would dive in more into what's happening in Canada, because there are tons of sightings per year. They figure there's about 3 a day all across Canada. There's a lot of activity out west, out east, and over Quebec, it seems. So diving into the UAP topic in Canada, I think would be really great to see, like I said, from these big researchers and journalists. So let me know what you think. Check out the Sky Canada project as well. Have a read through that. And of course, let me know what your thoughts are or predictions on what this report is actually going to tell us when it comes out in summer, fall 2024 as it stands. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.